That's what they did. I don't think for the most part they did it consciously. They just didn't know what the hell they were doing. They had no idea. And then you have the globalists who think that it's wonderful when they close up a plant in Ohio, move the plant to Mexico or some other place, lose all of your jobs. They make the product in Mexico or some other country, send it back into our country, tax-free. Those days are ending, tax-free. Right? No good. No, we don't like that. We want our people. Did you see a certain gentleman the other day said, Donald Trump doesn't take care of foreign workers? I said, he's right. That was Charles Koch. Charles Koch, who's actually a nice guy. They're members of my clubs, David and Charles Koch. But he said, Donald Trump doesn't take care of foreign workers. I said, hey, he's right. I mean, I don't want to get into an argument. He's right. I want to take care of the American workers. I want to be America first, okay? But America's economic surrender ended the day that I took office, folks. Now, after years of rebuilding foreign countries, we are finally rebuilding our country. The great patriot from Ohio, and he was indeed, and he was actually a great president, certainly from an economic standpoint. He was a great president. He was assassinated. People don't realize William McKinley from Ohio was a great president. He understood the crucial importance of tariffs in maintaining a very strong country. And people that followed him went down as great presidents because, one in particular, as you know, because he was given an economic behemoth that was created by McKinley. McKinley said, we ought to take care of our own nation and her industries first. We have to take care of our nation first. And we can help other people. We want to help other people. But we don't want to help other people that are rich and not have them reimburse us. It's so foolish. We're taking care of their military. We're taking care of their manufacturing. We're taking care of everything. You know, a lot of these deals were made many years ago when they were weak and struggling, and then we never changed them. We never changed them. They're still the same old deal. But we're changing them now. Changing them now. And Troy Balderson is going to be helping so much. Thanks to our pro-American economic policies. American steel, one of the things I'm most proud of, American steel is making one of the biggest comebacks that anybody has ever seen for any industry. Nucor, big, great steel company. You know, the steel mills were all closing. They were all closing up. Nucor has announced an $85 million upgrade in Marion. Charter Steel announced a new $150 million steel mill in Cuyahoga Heights. JSW Steel is restarting the furnace and investing $500 million in Mingo Junction, and Cleveland Cliffs announced a new $700 million plant in Toledo. United States Steel is building or renovating or improving over 7 new plants. They never thought they'd see a day when this happened. And this all happened within a very short period of time because we've stopped the dumping. If they want to dump, you know what, that's fine. But they have to pay a 25% tax. It's amazing what impact that has on people that want to rip off and destroy our industries. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We've also taken historic action to protect our amazing farmers. I reached a historic agreement with the European Union, we talked about them before, to reduce barriers to American-grown products and vastly increase the purchases of Ohio's #1 crop, American soybeans. And by the way, do you see the prices? They're starting to go up. Soybeans prices are starting to go up. And we're standing up to China, and we'll get along with China, but we're standing up because it's just been unfair. We've authorized up to $12 billion to help American farmers during this period of time where China is targeting the American farmer, because China is smart and they know the American farmers love Donald Trump. And they say, what can we do to stop Donald Trump? Because he's the guy, he got it right. He's bringing the wealth back to the United States. And China doesn't like it. So they're spending a fortune on public relations and ads. You ever see these ads? Look at who's paying for them. And other countries. And by the way, other countries. And speaking of China, it's just come out that the Democratic leader and the leader of the Russian investigation, Dianne Feinstein, had a Chinese spy as her driver for 20 years. And she's leading the Russian investigation, if that's what you call it. How about she's leading the Russian witch hunt. A Democrat-inspired witch hunt. That's something. Isn't that something? Dianne Feinstein had a Chinese spy. How come China never spies on us? Can I tell you what? There are those that say, boy, they're brutal. You should ask the people, ask what's going on. And not only China, it's a lot of people. And we got to stop it. We got to stop meddling. We got to stop everybody from attacking us. But there are a lot. Russia's there. China's there. Hey, we're doing well with North Korea, but they're probably there. We got to stop everybody. We got to stop. But think of that. And I like Dianne Feinstein, I have to tell you. But I don't like the fact that she had a Chinese spy driving her. And she didn't know it. And then she says to me, well, what did you know about this and that? I mean, give me a break. Come on, folks. Come on. Every day, and by the way, with China not doing so well, it's only gotten worse, I guarantee you. If there's any meddling or if there's any problems, I guarantee you it's going to happen really big now, because we are taking our wealth back. We're taking our jobs back. We're opening up markets. Every day we're setting new records. And we're keeping our promise. We have eliminated a record number of job-killing regulations. And that is so true. And Ohio's going to like this. We have ended the war on clean coal. Our miners are back to work. Clean coal. Republicans passed the biggest tax cuts and reform in American history. We've saved our family farms from the estate tax, also known as the death tax. And also we've saved small businesses. Small farms, small businesses won't be paying the death tax anymore. As I said, we've repealed the core of Obamacare. The individual mandate is now gone. That's where you pay a tremendous amount of money for the privilege of not having to pay to buy terrible, horrible health care that's way overpriced. We have given you a lot of health care plans that you can choose from through associating health plans. We're giving businesses the greatest ability that they've ever had to join forces to buy much better health insurance for much less money, including across state lines. And we've just added and introduced a brand new rule to offer renewable plans that could save patients 50% or more compared to Obamacare. Obamacare, that was a beauty. Obamacare. It was repealed and replaced, remember, other than one vote. And you know what else we did, which is, I think, really great? It's really something. When you're really sick, it's called Right to Try. How many times you know somebody and you're reading about this potential cure, but it'll be 10 more years of experiments and food and drug. And we have Right to Try now. People sign a disclaimer, they sign an agreement for no liability. And instead of traveling, if they have the money, most people don't have the money, but I know people, they've traveled all over the world to try and solve a health problem. Right to Try, it's passed. It was really tough. You wouldn't think it would be tough, but the healthcare companies had a problem. The pharmaceutical companies had a problem. Our country, because everybody was worried everybody would be sued. I said, you'll sign an agreement where nobody, you do it. You don't sue people. They want to get better. They want to have a right to try. We approved that. And that's a big thing. It was a very hard thing. They've been trying to get it for 40 years. I signed it into law 3 months ago. Right to try. So if they have something that you read about that looks really promising, you don't have to wait 12 years. You know one of the reasons you couldn't use it? Because they said, well, we don't want to use it because maybe it's going to hurt somebody. Well, the people are going to die. They want to try it. It might not work, and it might work. It's also a great test medically. It's a great test. So right to try, we have it. I'm so proud of that one. To restore our security, we increased defense spending to $700 billion this year and $716 billion next year. We're doing things that we've never done before. And we also had approved $6 billion for opioid. We're fighting opioid. It's down 20%. It's a tough fight. $6 billion we got approved. Thanks to our $2 billion investment in new armored vehicle, workers at the legendary tank plant in Lima, Ohio, are now back on the job, churning out M1 Abrams tanks. Do you like that? Abrams tanks. They're churning them out. You know, the great thing about what we're doing with $700 billion and $716, we also, it's far less important in this case, because there's nothing we have to protect. There's nothing so important as our military. But we're also providing massive numbers of jobs because we build all of that equipment in the United States. That's the one case where the jobs just aren't as important, right? But we're doing it all here. And I'm very proud to report that we have given our service members their largest pay raise in over a decade. And I've also directed the Pentagon to begin the process of creating the 6th branch of the United States Armed Forces called the Space Force. Space. Very important. That's going to be great. Look, so much is happening now in space. I mean, your great defense. I'm not just talking about Mars and the moon. I'm talking about tremendous defense capability, offensive capability. It's in space. So we're going to do the Space Force. We passed a landmark VA accountability law that everybody said you couldn't get past. 40 years they've been trying to do it. Now, if a bad government worker abuses a great veteran, we turn to them and we say, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. You're fired. We also passed Veterans Choice. So if our veterans can't get care from the VA in a timely manner, they have the right to go and see immediately a private doctor and get taken care of. They've been working on that one for 45 years. We got it passed. I'm good at getting things passed, my whole life. Oh, and we're going to get the wall passed. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. The obstructionists, the Democrats are obstructionists. The only thing they do well, they're lousy politicians. They have horrible, stupid policies. You know, let's get rid of law enforcement. Let's get rid of our military. Let's not take care of our vets. All of these things. Let's not build a wall. They are haters. They have tremendous hatred. They have tremendous hatred, but they'll do anything they can to obstruct or resist. You know, their word is resist. Resist. I used to see that word. I said, why are they doing that? If it's good for the country, why are they resisting? But they want to resist. I withdrew the United States from the horrible Iran nuclear deal, and so many things have happened since. I also recognized the capital of Israel, and 5 months later, we opened the American Embassy in Jerusalem. Instead of apologizing for America, we are standing up for America. We are standing up for the heroes who protect our country. And we are proudly standing up for our national anthem. Thank you. But to continue our incredible success, we must elect more Republicans, and we must elect Troy Balderson. We have to elect Troy. So get your friends, get your neighbors, get your family, and get out and vote for Troy on Tuesday. Loyal citizens, great people like you help build this country. And together we are taking back this country. We are returning power to where it belongs, to the American people. From Columbus to the Queen City, Cincinnati, where I worked for a long time. I love Swifton Village. Swifton Village, a good place, the Queen City. From Dublin to Cleveland, and from Toledo to Mansfield, Ohio has always been the home of red-blooded American patriots, strong people, smart people, real workers, people that I love. This state is the home of the proud, and we're the home of the proud. We're the home of families and farmers and miners and manufacturers and aviators and astronauts. Ohio is the home of everything good. Ohio is where the Wright brothers invented the airplane and where Annie Oakley got her gun. And Ohio is the state that gives us American legends and American heroes like Thomas Edison, Neil Armstrong, and John Glenn. We stand on the shoulders of generations of American patriots who knew how to work, knew how to fight, and knew how to win. You know how to win. Just like them, we're going to keep on working. We're going to keep on fighting, and we are going to keep on winning. We're going to win so much, you're going to get so tired of winning. You're so tired. You see what's happening? Nah. We'll keep it going for a long time. We will never give up. We will never give in. And we will never back down. We will never, ever stop fighting for our families, our freedom, or our great American flag. Right? Because we are Americans, and our hearts bleed red, white, and blue. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. If you can take it, I can take it. In all fairness to the HVAC engineers and contractors, this room was not designed quite for this crowd. And you people are hot. So if anybody wants to leave. There's a lot of people out there want to get in, but don't leave. Now, it is rather hot. Here's the good news. You walk out, you lose about 10 pounds, and you say, that was really very good. That beats going to a gym, right? It's hot. So much for my brand new beautiful suit.
Here to react, former Trump campaign manager Corey Lewandowski and conservative commentator Gina Loudon, who is a member of President Trump's Media Advisory Board. All right, guys, one of my favorite moments is when the president really pits the people against the powerful. He does it very effectively, for a billionaire, for that matter, and he talks about the elite. And I believe he's stolen this trick from the Democrats, who always campaign, for the little guy against the big, powerful business interests. He's now ripped that right out of their pocket and owned that line. Here's a little taste.
MSNBC is so corrupt. It's so disgusting. So disgusting. I would say almost they're worse. They're almost worse. They're really a fake news group of people. And here's the good news. The guys that we love, right? They're blowing them away in the ratings. Hannity, Laura Ingraham, Tucker Carlson, Steve Doocy, Ainsley, Ryan. So many others. They're blowing them away in the ratings. Oh, excuse me. I almost forgot I would have been in big trouble. The great Lou Dobbs, right? I would have been. But do you see? Oh, Maria Bartiromo. Right. I'm in trouble because I know I left out probably 10, but I didn't really think I'd be doing this. But they're blowing them away. CNN is down at the bottom of the totem pole. MSNBC isn't even close to being next to these shows. They're more elite than me. I have better everything than they have, including this. And I became president and they didn't, meaning you became president. And it's driving them crazy.
Well, Judge Jeanine's very upset because she was not mentioned there by the president. I think I heard her throw a glass in the green room. But besides that, we wanted to get that in there. About the elites versus the regular folks, Dr. Loudon, that's so effective, and the crowd just loves it.
No, they absolutely do. And this president has joined with the American people in ways that no other president has before, Republican or Democrat, to say, I remember during his campaign, he said it very clearly, I want all Americans to be as rich as me. And that gave Americans a vision of going back to work again, of reclaiming our economy, both nationally and internationally. And those are the things that he has delivered on. And so he has every right to stand there and say that to that crowd because he's delivered on it.
And Corey, here's the choice. Here's how he's framing it here. He's saying these people in Ohio, you know, they're smart people. They own a business. They own land. They have families. They have savings. They have high salaries. They're doing great. And then you have some little pale weasel in a small apartment making a tiny amount of money in Manhattan or Washington, D.C. He's got nothing going on, no action. And he's calling those people in the heartland deplorables. He's calling them toothless, and that's why people don't like the people in the media.
Well, Jesse, it's not just the people in the media. It's the bi-coastal nature of either going to Stanford or Harvard and then looking down on everybody else who didn't attend one of those Ivy League schools. And what this president talked about was he's wealthier than they are. He's got a bigger apartment than they do. And he's now the president of the United States. But more importantly, he's there with the hardworking men and women in Ohio every single day who are seeing the benefits of the economy which he has put in place to put Americans back to work. He went through those steel miners and coal workers who can now go back to work every day. They didn't go to Harvard. They didn't go to Stanford. Those are hardworking Americans that are better off than those professional elitists who look down their nose at others.
Under Barack Obama, this country lost nearly, I think, 300 to 400,000 manufacturing jobs. And this president, only less than 2 years, has added 400,000 plus manufacturing jobs, Gina. But I want to talk about some of the news he made tonight. Some people do or don't know this. Dianne Feinstein, the senator from California, I think she's one of the ranking members on the Senate Intelligence Committee and leading the charge against collusion and all that kind of stuff. It was discovered that there was a Chinese spy, a mole, who was her driver for 20 years, driving the senator around. God knows what he was hearing, you know, in the front seat while she was chatting on the cell phone. And she's now upset with Donald Trump for being a national security risk. Let's hear the president address it.
Speaking of China, it's just come out that the Democratic leader and the leader of the Russian investigation, Dianne Feinstein, had a Chinese spy as her driver for 20 years. And she's leading the Russian investigation.
Okay, so it's so funny, the Democrats, you know, they get hacked. Podesta gives his password, which was password to the enemies. You know, she's got a mole in the back seat. Some crazy IT guys working for Debbie Wasserman Schultz, then he flees for the border. And Donald Trump is a risk? Come on.
Yeah, but you make an excellent point, Jesse, and this is what the American people are watching, and they're seeing this hypocrisy, and they're going, you've got to be kidding me. Do they believe their own lies? And Jesse, the only place they believe those lies are on the two coasts, as Corey just pointed out, and also in the D.C. bubble. But the people in the heartland, the people that he was talking to tonight, they see all of this. They see the hypocrisy. They know it. And this is what elected this president. This is what will deliver the midterms for him, I believe, again, too.
Yeah, speaking of the midterms, let's play some sound from the president, and we can have Corey react. He made a prediction. Here it is.
They're talking about this blue wave. I don't think so. I don't think so. Maxine Waters is leading the charge. Maxine. She's a real beauty. Maxine. A seriously low IQ person. Seriously. Maxine Waters. She's leading the charge. You know, all throughout, like hundreds of, like 100 years, I guess, 125 years, whoever has the White House, that party tends to lose the midterms. I don't know why. Maybe it's complacency. Maybe you all fight so hard for the presidency and, you know, you win and you're a little complacent. But, I mean, that was 2 years ago. So I just said, why? But we have the greatest economy in the history of our country. We have things that have never happened before. And, look, if the Democrats get in, they're going to raise your taxes. You're going to have crime all over the place. You're going to have people pouring across the border. So why would that be a blue wave? I think it could be a red wave. I tell you what, really, I think it should be a red wave.
So, Corey, what do you see happening in the midterms?
You know, Jesse, I think the president's right in one regard. I think you're going to see Republicans gain seats in the U.S. Senate. The map for the Republicans is very favorable, particularly in those places where Donald Trump won 2 years ago, where Democrat incumbents are currently running for re-election. So you're going to see a gain of 2 to 3 seats at minimum of Republicans. On the House side, there is a very real possibility now that the Republicans are going to keep that House in a majority. It will be a slimmer majority, right, but the Republicans are going to hold the House. And the reason for that is what Donald Trump just outlined. You know, it goes back to the basic question, are you better off today than you were 2 years ago? Unequivocally, by every metric, the answer is yes. The economy is booming. The stock market is booming. Unemployment, particularly amongst Hispanics and African Americans, are at lowest levels of ever recorded. And all those things point to putting people back in office who've delivered in the last 2 years. So I think you'll see a Republican majority come November.
And I don't necessarily believe the accuracy of some of the polls right now. They have a Democrat generic lead by about 7 points in the head-to-head congressional matchup. I don't think that Trump supporters talk to pollsters. They definitely didn't talk to pollsters in November 2016. So that's baked in there, and it's going to be a lot tighter than people think. So the president, this was his third big campaign rally this week. We have so much to play for you. We're talking about the elections. Let's talk about even further 2020. The president named some potential matchups, and here's what he had to say.
Let's say I'm running against Pocahontas or Crazy Bernie. I tell you, I got to hand it to Bernie. I saw him up there the other day. That hair is getting whiter and whiter, and he's getting crazier and crazier. And I saw him. We'll stop Donald Trump. We're stopping him. We're going to stop. And I looked at my wife. I said, you know what? You got to hand it to that guy. Man, that guy, he doesn't quit, and that's okay. Crazy Bernie. He is one crazy dude.
One crazy dude. Doctor, what do you think about that one?
Well, this is the thing. He's cutting right into the base, even of some of those who might have considered themselves pretty far left once upon a time. If you look at these new job numbers, Well, that, but also if you look at the new jobs numbers this week, unemployment is down even among high school dropouts, Jesse. You know, think about it. The party of the little guy, the party of the guy that is the have-not, right? And this president's coming along and making their life better. What in the world are the Democrats going to do with that? What are the socialists going to do with that? I don't know, because I think this president wins on that.
What did the president say? I love the poorly educated. I think he was saying that with love, right, Corey? You got a quick wrap. Here we go.
Well, he was, but Jesse, remember, look at the numbers that came out this week for the president. The African Americans are now supporting this president at almost 30%. If he just gets double digits in the 2020 election, he wins by such a wide margin that the last election looks like a squeaker.
I want everybody to think about what Corey just said. Black support for President Donald Trump, according to Rasmussen, has gone from 15% to 29%. Guys, wow. Unbelievable. Got to run.
Thank you.
Coming up, it's President Trump versus King James.
Vogel. The FBI reportedly returning to an Iowa pig farm again to question the owner in connection with the mysterious disappearance of 20-year-old Molly Tibbetts. News of the FBI's visit to Wayne Cheney's farm comes as the reward for information leading to Molly's whereabouts climbed to $260,000. Molly vanished more than 2 weeks ago after a run in her hometown of Brooklyn, Iowa. And in California, there are now 14,000 firefighters battling 17 major wildfires across the state. So far, the fires have burned close to 500,000 acres, forcing nearly 40,000 people to evacuate. The most devastating fire, the Carr Fire, has killed 6 people, destroyed more than 1,000 homes, and is now considered one of the worst wildfires in state history. I'm Anita Vogel. Now back to Watters World.
And I was supporting somebody else. Steve Stivers, but he's in a totally different district. Did they apologize? Did you apologize for that mistake? No, I heard today.
President Trump hitting back at the mainstream media earlier tonight after a week of attacks. CNN's Jim Acosta got into it with Sarah Sanders during Thursday's White House briefing. Check it out.
I'm the first press secretary in the history of the United States that's required Secret Service protection. The media continues to ratchet up the verbal assault against the president and everyone in this administration. And certainly we have a role to play, but the media has a role to play for the discourse in this country as well.
The President of the United States should not refer to us as the enemy of the people. His own daughter acknowledges that, and all I'm asking you to do, Sarah, is to acknowledge that right now and right here.
I appreciate your passion. I share it. I've addressed this question. I've addressed my personal feelings. I'm here to speak on behalf of the president. He's made his comments clear.
Joining me now, senior columnist at townhall.com, Kurt Schlichter, and Anton Gunn, a former Obama administration official and the author of the upcoming book, The Presidential Principles. All right, Kurt, I'll start with you. Listen, the press is not the enemy of the people. The fake news press has made enemies of the people because of their mistreatment of the president, their unfair reporting, and their denigration of regular Americans. I mean, just the other day you had some guy, I believe it was from Politico, who said everybody at the Trump rally was a bunch of toothless hillbillies. You understand that?
Absolutely. Look, this is a week where the New York Times, the flagship of the liberal media, hired an avowed racist, someone who, if you just changed the nature of the person she's hating, would have been another David Duke. And they hired her and they defended her, Jesse. It's ridiculous. It's disgraceful. Enemy of the people. You don't want to be called the enemy of the people? I have a great idea. Stop being the enemy of the people.
What do you think, Anton, about a lot of the complaints coming from the mainstream media about the line enemy of the people that the president uses? Are they being a little oversensitive?
They're being way, I mean, my point would be this. The media has a role to play, and the president complaining about the media makes no sense. He should be above the fray and just do his job. If you can't
President
take
Trump
the criticism,
above the fray? Do you not know the president?
No,
the president does not stay above the fray. The president gets right down in there.
And that's his problem. He should stay above the fray. The media has a job to do. Their job is to cover whatever they want to cover, report it the way they want to report it. And he should have some thicker skin than to be President Petty, to be concerned about what the media is saying. Just do your job. And if you do your job, then there's nothing to worry about. The press should be able to cover whatever they want to cover.
Yeah, I think they can cover however they want, but it's 90% negative. And all he's doing is when he gets incoming, he just counterpunches. It's like they can throw a punch, the press, but they can't take one, Kurt.
Well, damn right, Jesse. Look, we spent 8 years with George Bush being a gentleman, taking it on our behalf. Now we got someone who throws back when they throw down. I love it. It's time to get in these people's faces and say, no, you are not going to treat me with condescension. No, you are not going to insult me. No, I am not going to be treated with disrespect. If these are the new rules, welcome to them. That's how we're playing the game.
Yeah, well, no one wants to get hurt. Everyone is trying to stay nonviolent. But if you're going to yell something at an event, I mean, come on, we're all grown men here. I think we can take it. I know Anton can take it. He looks like he can take just about anything. And go buy his book, all right? Check it out. Guys, I got to run. Next, President Trump versus LeBron James. Wait till you see what happened today. A war of words between NBA superstar LeBron James and President Trump after LeBron had this interview with CNN.
Because I believe our president is kind of trying to divide us. But I think...
Kind of?
Yeah, is. Not, I don't want to say kind of. He's dividing us. And what I noticed over the last few months, that he's kind of used sport to kind of divide us. I would never sit across from him.
You would never? You didn't want to talk to him?
Nah. I sit across from Barack, though.
Oh. Now, the president responded, tweeting, LeBron James was just interviewed by the dumbest man on television, Don Lemon. He made LeBron look smart, which isn't easy to do. I like Mike. Talking about Michael Jordan. Air Force veteran and conservative activist Anna Paulina and political commentator Wendy Acefo. All right, Anna, I don't think this is that big of a deal. I don't know why people are getting so worked up about this. The president hits back when he's attacked. LeBron James said something he didn't like, and he hit him back. What's the big deal, right?
I'll start out by saying this, Jesse. You know, the thing about kneeling during the national anthem is the original purpose as to why it was done is no longer a topic of discussion, right? Sports athletes did it to shed light on police brutality in this nation. But now the focus has changed to the level of disrespect that it means to the service members.
The message has been totally lost in the symbolism because of the time that they chose to express themselves, Wendy. And you understand that. They totally misread what they were doing, didn't see that it was hurting their cause, and now are trying to flip it and act like Trump is being divisive when it was them that brought the disunity by kneeling.
Actually, no, that's incorrect. I will say that the president's comments is completely divisive and is beyond the pale as the president of the United States and the president of the free world. What we have here is LeBron James, a man who has been a stellar model of citizenship both on and off the court.
That is true.
Who spent $8 million of his own money to build a school for at-risk kids, and nothing that Donald Trump has done in his career has even compared to that, whereas he has levied a judgment.
Really? He didn't appoint the first black... No, you cannot, because you're spewing rhetoric for the left. I'm not about to turn to CNN and watch this.
Hold on. And I don't know you. I don't know you, but what I can say to you is do not cut me off because
we're going to do this nicely and with class, okay? Wendy,
exactly. So tell Anna that.
Let me respond to something you said. I agree that LeBron James has been very kind and very generous and very charitable off the court with his school and everything he's done for young disadvantaged children. With that said, it's not right to say President Trump has done nothing. He's created hundreds of thousands of jobs.
I never said that.
He's given lots of opportunities to disadvantaged people. So I don't think that's appropriate. All right.
First of all, no, Jesse, let's speak to the facts. Not only did what President Trump do, not only is it divisive, but it's also borderline racist.
Why?
President Trump has called out by name. I will tell you why. He has called out by name called out by name Colin Kaepernick, Stephon Curry, and LeBron James, but he has never responded to the criticism
wait a second.
Let me finish. He has never responded to the criticism
I could name about a dozen
Curry,
white people that the president has attacked personally.
He has never responded to Eminem. He has never responded to
Excuse me, what about
Steve
Dak
Kerr?
Prescott and the things that he's facing on Twitter?
Go ahead,
what
Anna.
about
Go
Dak Prescott and what Karen Phillips is saying? I'm telling you, why don't you listen to what I'm saying then? What about Dak Prescott and the fast pace? He was referred to as a lemonade serving house word that I'm not going to repeat on national television.
You need to come with actual facts.
Guys,
no, racism
this is now turned into something completely ridiculous.
You make no sense.
We're unable to have a conversation, so I'm just going to go to the next segment, okay? Anna, Paulina, and Wendy, thank you guys very much. The New York Times hires a blatantly anti-Trump racist to be a member of their editorial board. We're going to react to that next.